Hi, Dougie Burke from Douglas Tackle World here for this weekend, the 19th and 20th of March 2022, for the fishing report for around the Gold Coast. Okay, guys, what I can tell you is we are having, I think it's the 11th weekend out of 12 of 25 knots again. Like I might get down to 20 knots or 15 early in the morning, but it's still crap. It sounds like a broken record. But anyhow, so this weekend offshore, like during the week, there were days where it got down around maybe 14 to 15 knots, and a few boats ventured out, and they did catch mackerel, believe it or not. Even that dirty water's as brown as brown. They caught mackerel, and they're trolling deep diving lures. As always, we always tell you guys, the stratas and the samakis are like they're the deepest we can get out of all our lures that we stock. Like this type of guys here, if you can see that. They're really good. And those three colours are my go-to. So one's a samaki in the yellowfin colour, strata in the coral trout, and the fusey, that one there, the smashes it. It's really good in dirty water, very bright. Those guys have been doing really well. Trolled 6 to 7 knots, trolled them around about 60, 80, or 40, 60 and 80 metres behind your boat. They'll come down a lot closer than that when they dive down. And we're trolling them around the Diamond Reef off Southport. So if you wanted to venture out tomorrow, you got 1.5 to 2.5 metres on the sets. The swells rolling through the Seaway, so you've got to run in tide in the morning. So stick to the north wall, get out behind that bank, dog leg south towards surface. Once you get past the bank, that's breaking on the inside of the south wall, and just be really careful, guys, please. And then head out to the Diamond Reef, throw your lures out, and troll around, and just be careful. But I wouldn't be doing it in a small boat. I wouldn't be doing it if I don't know what I'm doing offshore. So please be careful. And if you're going to go out, hit that area. To go out further, like unless you've got a big boat or you really know what you're doing, there are heaps of dollies at the fads. Gavin from Sea Pro Charters smashed it this week again. He's been a few days, and the dollies are like, they're around about a metre, 90 centimetres to a metre. They're not bad size, and they're bagged out, I think. So they've got heaps. He also told me that there was heaps of small snapper around that 40, 50 centimetre mark on the 50s at the moment, and some plenty of tuskies and a few pearl perch as well. There are also kings and amberjacks there if you want to live bait or do some jigging. The current is dropping off this week. It's dropping down to about 1.6 knots going by the current charts at the moment, and that gets better as the week progresses. There was a window for Sunday 2 days ago. They were saying 4 to 8 knots all day. Now it's 14 to 28 knots all day. It's crap. And then there was another window for Friday and Saturday next week. Now that's disappeared for Friday. It's going to be 15 to 20. Saturday looks not too bad. I can't see Sunday yet, so hopefully Sunday's all right. There is a bit of northerly kicking in this week. It's off and on. It goes northerly then southerly, 15 knots, 20 knots, 15 knots, 20 knots. There is a window on Wednesday. So at this stage, but that'll probably change tonight or tomorrow morning. But there is a window on Wednesday at this stage. They're saying like 4 to 8 knots all day. So if you can call a sickie in, or if you can have the luxury of getting off, or if you're tired, go and do it. Go and chase those mackerel, or chase those snapper, or whatever you like to chase out there, because the weather looks not too bad. That's probably all I can tell you. Oh, one thing I will tell you is, like normally for wahoo, like the wahoo obviously biting these things off. They're like candy lollies to wahoo. But the wahoo have been like really bad and biting everyone's lures off, including my own, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago before the rain. They normally don't come back in dirty water. They'll shy out wide a bit further to the water clears up. But they apparently are already back in. I had a couple of guys this week that were out there trying lures and they got bitten off. Really easy, just like, and that was it. They wound in, their line was gone. So unusual to see, but maybe the wahoo are up in amongst that dirty water, because they don't normally go down too deep. They normally sit up really high on the table. Get your wahoo lures out. So as I said last time, 3 weeks ago, and I didn't do it, but I should have done it, but when there's so many wahoo around like there was, and everyone's getting bitten off, if you had to switch to skirts, like metalhead skirts, which I've got downstairs and bring them up to show you, but they're like that with a metal head on, and they're pre-rigged. They weigh about 130 grams, so they're pretty heavy. You troll those, you put 3 or 4 of those out and troll them at like 12 knots up on the plane, drop them back about closest maybe 60, 70 metres, 80, 100, even 120, and you're doing like 12 knots, you're on the plane, you've got drags fairly locked up because it's quite easy to pull the line off at that speed. And if you troll around other mackerel grounds doing that speed, you're going to smash the wahoo. You'll just like bag out. The wahoo's only 2 anyhow, but you'll bag out real quick. So, and they're good fish. They're often 20 kilos average. They're a lot bigger than the Spanish on average. So yeah, give that a shot maybe. Okay, that's better for offshore. We'll now swing into the inshore. This week up at the jumping area, there were a lot of flathead caught, lots of flatties. Up on the shallows, even in that dirty water, like at high tide, it's like brown, but they're still catching them, casting like big things like these sort of shrimps. This is my go-to all the time. In the gulps, the 4-inch shrimp. Running those on a jig head, something around that sort of quite light, and around that whatever size. So I'm trying to find it. Quarter ounce, or even 1/8 of an ounce in a 4-0 or a 5-0 hook in that, and cast in shallow water, only metre deep or half metre deep. Real slow, little twitch, and boom, they just whack it. So get up on those shallows around Crusoe, along Kalinga Bank, and probably along the top of the banks over near Pandanus Island, which is near Tippers Channel, and have a shot. Okay, high tide this weekend, 9-10 o'clock in the morning. So it's going to be your go-to window for getting flatties on that clean water, on semi-clean water, for about an hour or two before it starts ripping out. And because of the big tides this weekend, that all that silt that's sunk down to the bottom is just going to be brought to the top, and it's going to be, once that tide's running out, 2 hours in the run out, it's going to be chocolate brown. Okay, so you've only got that little window to fish in the morning on the high tide. Also whiting, so plenty of whiting caught. Rossi from Lucky Strike Charters got into the whiting this week around the end of South Australia as well, up the northern end of it in the lagoons there, and on Gold Bank, which is opposite Millionaires Row, on top of that big bank there, and fishing with yabbies and worms. Okay, Seaway, back down this way. Oh, sorry, mud crabs at the jumping pin area. Definitely try all the creeks. The catches I'm getting out in the broadwater / jumping pin front area, east area, which were about 2 to 3 weeks ago, just after the rain, the week after the rain, and guys were just smashing it in the deeper holes. They have disappeared from that area. They're now moving back up into the rivers and the creeks and whatever. So cut them off at the pass and sort of head halfway between where you normally get your crabs, right at the creeks, and where they were at the front, and somewhere in between there they're travelling back up. So you need to find where that area is, and good luck. Overnight would be best to drop your pots. So back down the broadwater now. The Seaway this week, besides being rough and dangerous, has been fishing not too bad. So guys have just been drifting the Seaway using little soft plastics and just bobbing the bottom, drifting on the bottom on the running tide. The last 2 hours of the running tide, we're getting small snapper up to 50 centimetres. They're getting tuskies, flatties, brim, sweet lip, like a variety of fish. So definitely worth a go. There's been a bit of bait around too. You see a bit of bird life in the Seaway at the moment as well. So there'll probably be odd tail on that as well, even though the water's a bit dirty. Back down further west of Wadebreak, there's been plenty of whiting on the high tide. Again, really good tide, that high tide, running tide in the morning. Get out there from daylight, halfway up tide, and fish to the top of the tide. You need yabbies and no sinker, and fish the back areas. It's only a metre deep or half a metre deep out of the current, and that's where you get your whiting. And try also the banks opposite Aqua, all the way through to the Gold Coast Bridge, right down to the marinas, opposite the marinas there. And good luck on that. There have been a few whiting up the river too. Actually, they're coming back up that way as well. So similar to the crabs, they're starting to move back up. And there's quite a few good catches. My brother Paul got a few this week, midweek, out around the council chambers there, and I think Youngie got a few as well. So give that a shot. Just another thing too, when I'm fishing for flatties, I would definitely say on the tides this week, get along the south wall and the north wall of the Seaway around that sort of 8 to 10 o'clock, and the last to run in. Flick that exact what we talked about before, those things there, okay, and flick them around the wall, right up onto the wall with a really small jig head. Oh, there we go, I found them. That sort of thing there. Okay, 1/8, 4/0s, perfect. Absolute lollies for the flatties, and just twitch, and you'll have some really good success. So you get up on those shallow banks, okay, and give that a shot. And just another thing too, guys, I don't know if you know this, but some of the braids coming out now, just off the Richter scale for doing like flatties and snapper and everything, of course. Well, this is a new one from YGK. It's a multicolour, which the flatties don't care about. And it's 14 pound, but it's actually a 6 pound braid diameter. This thing is ridiculous, and it breaks at very spot on, and it's such a tight weave it actually feels like mono. I know you can't see that there, but if you can see that, it's ridiculously thin. Okay, and it's just really, really good stuff. Cast a mile, and like 14 pound is plenty for the biggest of flathead meters, 90 centimetre ones, but that will get a little jig head down in that current so easy, and every little twitch you do you'll feel, because it's just so thin. So yeah, it's not the cheapest of braids, but it is definitely worth a crack if you like your fishing. Give it a shot. Bring your reels in. We'll re-spool for you and look after the price. And there's a lot of other brands too, like other braids that are like 15 pound diameter are 30 pound, as in grappler, and also Logicator, the same thing as well. As the braids get dearer, they get a tighter weave and same thickness, but just super, super thin. But the weave's better, so it just works better. Yeah. Anyhow, cast is also a good one too. Cast do very thin lines as well. That's also 30 pounds there. If you can see how thin that is, that's 30 pounds. Quite thin. Give that a shot, guys. Okay, that's about it for the broadwater. So for muddies, I'll be definitely trying up the Coombe Lakes area just before this boundary. And my brother Paul's up there today. He got a few crabs, he said. I taught him how to do the line technique, so he's doing the line technique. Or maybe around the Coombe River's entrances, or a bit further up in the Coombe River as well. Nerang River, I'll get a few sand crabs around the boys' school maybe. There might be a few starting to head up that area, which is around TSS, or maybe head up further around Carrara area. There may be some crabs already heading back up that way as well. So muddies overnight. Okay, in the freshwater scenario, the Hinds Dam is reopened. So only on one area though, on the back western corner as far as I know. So there's been some good bass catches this week. I spoke to a few guys that have been doing really well. And the new jointed Shimano lure, which we got downstairs, I've got to bring one up, sorry about that. They are working really well. One of our customers sent in a picture of nice bass he caught up in the Hinds on that today. But I would be definitely getting there early in the morning. It's this back western corner and fishing with surface lures for bass and Saratoga. There's so much feed around after all the rain. The water's risen a bit more, and it's all fresh and it's grassy, clean grass on the edges, and they'll be definitely going for things like cicada type lures, like that fellow there, popping frogs, like that type of fellow there. You can see that, and even just casting out weedless frogs like this type of thing here. This new one's from Chase Baits, and just slow winding those little legs on the top, and they will get snazzled. Tailor-made lures. That's another walks on the top of the water. It's fantastic to actually cast out and twitch and just see them smashed on the top of the water, and it's quite aggressive. And the Saratoga is even better because they actually roll on it, and there's a few Saratoga as well. And while on the freshwater, Stewie that works here has been fishing up at the. We went back to Faust. He came down to Kinchit Dam near Mackay. They went back up to Peter Faust because they're having such a fat time up there. And again, he's been using like these new squidgy prawns, if you can see that, which I think I've smashed the flatties myself, but that's what he's using on the barra, that type of thing. And what he's doing is just working the bottom. So he's actually just like with flathead fish in the deep, just working on the bottom, and they're just coming up and buffing it and whacking it. He's also doing it side casting as well. But yeah, they're just the squidgies like so, in the prawns there. So give those a shot if you're heading up barra fishing up to anywhere from Mondrian up to Peter Faust, which is sort of Bundy to Mackay area or Proserpine. Yeah, okay. Just to also let you know, we've got heaps of new gear in. We're also we're now doing a few new different types of products. So we're doing Yeti. If you're after Yeti products, we now stock it. Same price as everyone else, but we have a fairly good range of the stock we can get. There's a fair bit on back order still, just waiting for that to come in. We've got heaps of new lures coming this week. Heaps of new Jackson lures as well, which I'll show you next time. Heaps of new Shimano. The new Shimano reels are rocked up, most of them, and some new Shimano rods, and lots of other brands as well. And we've just been unloading stock out all weekend. The shelves are pretty full at the moment. Yeah, so come and have a look if you're bored at home and the weather's too crappy. We're here. Next seminar is on next Thursday night, the 24th, I think it is, maybe, around about. And we're doing it on crustaceans. So we're talking, I'm going to teach you guys how I catch my best muddies and sand crabs and spanner crabs. And I've been doing that for 50 years. My dad taught me how to crab when I was about 5 or 6 or whatever. Maybe more than 50 years ago, it's a bit scary. But anyhow, everything I've learnt, guys, for the last 50 so years, I will teach you how to do it. Okay, so welcome to come along. It's just a normal scenario, I've got to pay for it and we'll look after you on stock in return. And it is on next Thursday night. Ring the shop from tomorrow and you can book in limited to 25 people. And that's about it, I think. Yeah, okay, so Doug Bird for Douglas Tackle World. Enjoy the weekend as we got it. Like long way forecast ahead. As I said, Friday looks not too bad late afternoon, Friday morning's crap. But Saturday next week at this stage is like 4 to 10 knots, but hey, I don't believe that. And if it is, get ready for it, and if it's not, we'll do the same as we did this weekend, and that's just maybe have a crack, or we'll just sit back and wait for the next weekend. Okay, get out there, Doug for Douglas Tackle World. Follow us on YouTube, on Douglas Fishing Channel, or on our Instagram, Douglas Fishing Tackle World, or on Facebook. Thank you very much, and catch you next week. Thank you, bye-bye.